You know, a lot of your problems in life can be solved by one thing: Big Monkey. Let's talk about DK Bananza and how much I love it, because this might be one of my favorite and out of pocket video games that has come out in the last decade. So, let's get right into it. Hello and welcome. My name is Wolfy. You're watching Lesser Than Cake, the channel where we talk about video games and stuff while in VR. So, DK Bananza, Donkey Kong Bananza, the story of a girl and a monkey traveling to the center of the earth. I keep saying monkey, but that's actually more or less kind of an inside joke to the game itself. They kind of just call everything that is ape a monkey. So it's silly. The game itself is silly. The premise is silly. Essentially, the way that the story works is DK is in the mines hunting for Banandium gems. And those gems are apparently tasty because him and the other monkeys, they want it. And so they're hunting for the Banandium gems. This other guy named Void and his organization come in. They sink the mine so that they could start traveling to the center of the earth. Why they needed to burrow in this exact spot isn't exactly revealed until like way later in the game, but they do have a reason, a relatively decent one. But they sink the mines, DK gets trapped underground, and the only way out is down. Can't just climb. Granted, he also wants the bananas that are being stolen by Void because, you know, that's the setup for a Donkey Kong game. Steal Donkey Kong's bananas, he does something. Now, along the way, Donkey Kong finds an odd rock named Odd Rock, and that Odd Rock is, spoiler from literally the Nintendo Direct and the trailer here, is Pauline. And no, this isn't like a time travel Pauline. This isn't an aged down Pauline. This is a 13-year-old Pauline from sometime in the Mario universe timeline. And I have to say, and I just to toot my own horn, I was right, but by one generation I was off. So I did this whole theory, side tangent here, about how DK is DK Jr. and Pauline is actually Lady's daughter, and Jumpman is Mario's grandfather. Or Mario's father. I was wrong. It's actually Mario's grandfather, Pauline's grandmother, and DK's grandfather. Cranky Kong is still DK's grandfather, which means DK Jr. is still missing in action. Unless DK Jr. was always DK Jr. the second, which we won't touch that. The fact that there is a missing Kong is the point. But this does actually make sense. It is referenced throughout the game, specifically with comments that Pauline makes. So, digressing. The gameplay is very simple. You've got Big Monkey. Big Monkey can punch rock. When you punch rock, rock gets destroyed. And you can destroy so much of the level. It is like 90% voxels and a couple of solid pieces of terrain. In fact, there have been times when playing this game that I couldn't quite figure out how to get into a place, that I just kind of destroyed everything around it until I found the opening. It works. It is totally a usable solution, and it is hilarious how frequently you can do it. One of the early examples is there's a rock that you have to use a specific thing to blow it up. But instead, I just destroyed the dirt around it and got behind it, got the Banandium gem that way. And there are multiple times that things like that happen while playing this game. There are gems that you're supposed to do something for, but you can just do something completely different and get it. Pauline works as a sort of guide where she can sing to reveal your next destination if you're just following for the objectives. And once you find maps, which can be found in treasure chests, she will also show the location of those on the map. And if you select them, she will also try to guide you to them. It's not the best because a lot of these things are hidden in the ground. Now, treasure chest is another interesting thing because those are actually randomly generated. As you destroy terrain, chests may show up. There are some that are placed in the world that are specifically there to guide you, but the chests are placed randomly. The fossils are placed intentionally, and the Banandium gems are placed intentionally. The chips are also random. So there's like a level of random to all of this. And you can actually get upgrades to DK that are outfit based that allow you to make them appear more frequently. In fact, one of the first ties in the game that you can get for DK is actually a treasure finding one, which allows you to break rocks and find treasures, which the more treasures you find, the more maps you find, the more additional pickups. There's actually fruit juice and banana juice. The banana juice is for the Bananza transformations, and the fruit juice is effectively like an extra life if you lose all of your hearts. DK does have hearts in this game. He has his own health pool. It's not one hit and he's out, but that health pool does deplete rather quickly. As you collect Bananium gems, you can upgrade DK, which allows him to do things like carry more of the fruit juice, get more hearts, punch through tougher terrain easier. And then there's also upgrades for the Bananza transformations, which the Bananza transformations are their own other thing. Effectively, they've shown off 3, and I'll try to keep it to those 3 to keep this a little bit spoiler free, but there are more. I will spoil that at least past those. The first 3 that you're going to get are the Kong, Zebra, and Ostrich transformations. And those are fun. Essentially, the Kong transformation turns you into a big, strong monkey that can punch through even stronger rock and is really powerful. You have the Zebra, which allows you to run really, really quickly, slightly uncontrollably sometimes, but is still a lot of fun. And then the Ostrich, which allows you to hover temporarily and then glide after that. And the glide has actually no distance limit. So you can fully just glide wherever you want to and screw up a lot of the platforming challenges after you get that Bananza transformation. You get these transformations specifically by finding elders within the layers, and that process is relatively straightforward. You're going to know when you're in the right place because you'll start seeing animals of that type, and that will give you a hint on what you're going to be turning into. And then you just meet the elder, you do a small challenge for them. They have these discs that they have to find, or that you have to find, that Void broke apart to try to delay you. And you just find them, you put them in, and then it gives you a quick tutorial on how the Bananza transformation works. What's really cool about the game, though, is I pretty much laid out the entire core functions. You've got your costumes, you got Pauline, you've got your Bananza transformations, and you got Smashy Smashy. That is the core of the game. And what they do at that core is incredible. So you can transform and change form instantly while you're in Bananza. There is actually a cool little thing that not a lot of people know about, but if you actually wait until your Bananza is almost over, you can actually reinitiate Bananza if you have enough energy. Energy is gathered through gold, which is a currency in the game, and you will need a lot of it just to complete the game, and then you'll need even more of it to 100% the game. And luckily, randomly generated and those chests that I mentioned earlier, essentially, they spit out more gold for you. So essentially, the core gameplay is go to a layer, get your objectives, find Banandium, defeat a boss, and get to the next layer. And the bosses are a lot of fun, albeit a little bit easy. Most of the initial bosses can be essentially chalked up to go Bananza mode, beat the boss up really quickly, and move on. So much so that, spoiler for some of the endgame content, there is like a challenge in which you have to defeat a bunch of enemies really, really quickly. And one of the bosses actually is present in that mode, and it really can be done in like 10 seconds. Like, not exaggerating, it really doesn't take that much time at all to beat some of these bosses. But they are fun, and they do demonstrate a lot of what this game is about. It's about smashing stuff and having fun. The entire time that you're going through this world, though, you will see one of the best character developments I've seen out of a Nintendo game, and that is between DK and Pauline. Pauline starts off as a very, very timid character. She's afraid of public singing. She's a little bit worried about the fact that she's strapped to the back of a gorilla, admittedly. And DK is a goofball. I love this iteration of DK so much. He tries to make Pauline, even as Odd Rock, less nervous by being silly and singing, and just he hypes her up when he needs to. It's adorable. And then there's this other section that it was showed off in the dark, so I can kind of talk about it. There are these hideaways that you can unlock. There are multiple throughout the layer. And every time you go to a new hideaway, Pauline will have something to say to DK that they'll say before going to bed. And everything from the animation of how they sleep in the bed to the actual like conversations are cute. It is just adorable. Pauline is offloading so much this entire time, but as she goes, her confidence is going up. Her relationship with DK is going up. And by the third world, if things are very different than the first three between them. So it's so much fun. It's so cute. It's a huge breath of fresh air from Nintendo to actually have something like this. And overall, it is one of the parts that I surprisingly enjoyed a lot, which was, again, shocking. The story of a DK game where you just smash things was enjoyable. I actually very much did enjoy it. Now, you may be wondering, does the gameplay of smashing things get tiring? I only got tired of it when I was doing 100%. But the actual, like, to the bottom that I did, which I got roughly 700 Bananium gems in the process of doing, that was fine. The smashing didn't wear out. I was actually enjoying it. I didn't change any of the settings. I didn't change the screen shake setting. I played through the whole thing as a Let's Play, still editing it and putting it up, but essentially it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it. The one level that kind of overstayed its welcome in not the first time I played it. I loved it the first time I played it and then didn't like it as much when I was 100%ing it was towards the bottom. It is themed around a theme park with fast food. That's the whole theme. And I think I had a stomach ache or something the day that I was trying to 100% it. And so I was feeling real sick looking at all the food because the food is like, it's surprisingly detailed and glistening and greasy looking, like this game. And that kind of brings us to like, how does the game look? It looks beautiful. For what it is a beautiful game. And I absolutely loved the art style. It was cartoony and stylish. The animations are great. And just how the world reacts to how DK punches it versus the actual fidelity of each level, it's something I haven't seen before. It's an interesting art style. I like it, and I like the direction that they went with it. And more importantly, it holds up through the entire game. In many ways, you can tell this was made by the Odyssey team because the Odyssey team has a specific look, and the last game they made, Odyssey, looked great, and this one also looks great. There are some secrets, some cool like twists and turns. There is something towards the end of the game that I can't say, but it has some amazing lore implications and ends in just an awesome, awesome boss fight. I will say the end of the game definitely hits all the high notes. Essentially, it's a roller coaster from start to finish, and the end of the game is great. Performance-wise, though, this game is, it kind of doesn't care. It is a Switch 2 exclusive, but there are frame dips. There's one boss in particular, and it's not too much of a spoiler. It's the fight against Void, in which he does a move that the best way to describe it is he's trying to brick your console while you're trying to brick him. That is the best way to describe it. It chugs at that fight, and it's just bad. You have to do it twice. You have to beat him 2 times, and both times he uses the same move that has the same problem. I had to stock up on health just to get through the lag that is created by that attack. So yes, Void will lag your game. And there are a couple of other big ones that might. I didn't really notice it too much because I ended the fights really quickly with Big Monkey. Which then brings us to the true challenge, getting 3 stars on your account and 100%ing the game. Now, fortunately, the game has more Bananium gems than is needed to 100% it. There are, I think it's like 900 something. I'll have to check on my save file, but there are some stupid number of Bananium gems. And then the chip ones don't count. You have to get 1 per level. So that does count towards your 100% total, but after that, they don't. You don't actually get every skill by the time you 100% the game. You get 3 stars, you don't actually need every skill because there's the banana chips, which are random, and they fortunately omitted them. What you do need is you need all of the music disc, you need all of the like planned Bananium gems, and you need to beat the game. That's it. That's how you get 3 stars. The process of getting the first star was fun. I pretty much, this whole video has just been outlining that process. Smash stuff, get Bananium gems, go down the hole, next level. Rinse and repeat until you get to the bottom. For the 2 star, which is getting the rest of them. That got a little bit annoying because there's a portion in which I got every single one in every single level, 100% in it, but I still had to go back to the bottom, do an extra objective, and then finally something else appeared in the first level that allowed me to get the rest of them. That was a bit annoying, but the challenges to get them are not that bad. In fact, I actually enjoyed it a lot. And then for the last one, I cheesed it. I have the amiibo, which means that I got the outfit for Pauline, which cannot be unlocked from what I can tell unless you have the amiibo, but that outfit raises the chance of music disc appearing when you defeat an enemy. And then I just went into the gauntlet of enemies that I mentioned earlier and just went smashy, smashy. It took me 30 minutes of doing that to get all the music disc. But yeah, I 100%ed it, surprisingly. Now, I could still keep playing and keep getting banana chips in order to keep buying Bananium gems to get the last upgrades and hit the 999 total that you can. But it's not necessary, and at this point, I was getting a little sick of it because the way that I did it, and this will be in a separate video, while it was a little bit cheesy and it did speed up the process, it was tedious. And so getting 100% is tedious. Getting just through the game is great. And I guess that's my only complaint. That getting to 100% is just, it's a chore. It was a chore in Mario Odyssey too. It's the same thing essentially, where it's just like, I have to keep going. But yeah, still a lot of fun. Still a really fun game. Now, should you get a Switch 2 over it? Well, here's the thing. The Switch 2 is great for what it's already got, Mario Kart World and DK Bananza. But if those aren't your jam, don't get a Switch 2 yet. Granted, you might want to get one if you're interested in Metroid coming out this year, or Kirby Air Riders coming out this year. And the reason I say that is we already know that holidays are going to be coming up. There's this period right now, roughly when this video is going to be out, you should be able to do this, where there are going to be Switch 2s available, but not people buying them as frequently. And that's because we're getting into back to school and that kind of thing, and people are spending money on other things. So now would be the time if you want to pick it up for those games. Like, it's an adding effect, right? If you want Pokemon Legends ZA, if you want Metroid Prime 4, if you want DK Bananza, if you want Mario Kart World, if you want at least 3 of those games, then it will be worth your time. That being said, DK Bananza is a game that's worth playing. It is a game that is worth picking up. I loved it from start to finish. And now I would love to have a familiar that is just a big monkey with a necktie. He needs a necktie, okay? Or a bow tie. I actually run around with a bow tie most of the time with the DK. And so, yeah, I want a pink and blue gorilla like my DK was at the end of this game with pants and a necktie. Just to ride on. It would be kind of fun, you know? As a witch, I could probably conjure one up. I don't know. Or at least find one and train it. That would be funny. Imagine me walking into the next video riding on the back of DK. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think about this game? Have you played it? Are you interested in playing it? Do you have any questions about it for me? And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed, because we're also going to be talking about how to 100% DK Bananza the easiest way possible. So I'll see you in the next video. Wolfy out.